let's read some unpopular opinion entries. Thanks for tuning in to Kazu Reads Reddit. First up, majority of coffee shops make bad coffee and are just fun projects by rich kids, while coffee from fast food places tastes better and cheaper. Okay, here's our first one. Let's see what the story's about. I live in Toronto and have gone through many coffee shops for dates, study sessions, or just a place to recover from stress after a long week. I've found these cafes from social media or word of mouth saying, "Oh, you gotta try this, blah blah." Some people think just because a coffee shop can make latte art, it means it's an awesome place. It's mostly owned by some kids who were probably bored or do it as an art project. Don't even get me started with coffee shops like these that open at 9 a.m. and close at 5 p.m. I really believe it's all just watered down dirty water with milk at this point. Even the fancy ones. Maybe especially the fancy ones. I feel like they could have just branded themselves as a lounge or a social area that happens to sell coffee, because I swear a lot of them are not worth it at all. The only good place that I can remember was an Italian coffee shop in Montreal called Olympico. Most days, I feel like the McDonald's coffee just hits the spot. It's quite good even with just light cream or sugar. Maybe my taste buds are messed up and I'm the one in the wrong, but I stand by it. Alright, so let's see what the other users are saying. Most likely these people have tested a lot of other coffee products and I'd like to hear from them as well. From Odin-ish, I'd agree with you in that the most basic and consistent coffee can go a long way for most people, especially when mixed with other things. It's just that specialty coffee can be so much more. I'd also agree with you that many coffee shops just can't do it right. Maybe they are trendy over competency or have inconsistent baristas. Maybe the roaster just sucks. It's high risk, high reward. Most coffee shops, it's not worth me getting espresso, but when I find the right ones, I don't want to order anything else. Okay, definitely the baristas are also a factor when it comes to making these coffees. There could be different reasons why there is an inconsistency when it comes to the taste of the coffee in different kinds of coffee shops. But if you are someone who needs a coffee fix, it's very similar to your favorite food. Coffee is like that. When you have something that you've tasted that you really like, I agree with Odinish that we just have to order and keep on ordering that same product. Okay, let's see the next comment. From Doorcake, I agree. I like the McDonald's coffee. In US, the app lets you buy it for $1. LOL. What's good too is McDonald's coffee in Hawaii. Oh, it tastes all floral and stuff. I like it. Wow, yeah, depending on the region or place where you're ordering coffee from, the shop, even though it's just a franchise, say McDonald's, they could be adding or changing the flavor of it to, to suit the environment or the culture of that place. That's good. Let's see the next comment then. From OK22604, coffee shop coffee is over-roasted, so it will be better, which mellows out with all the sugar and stuff added. McDonald's coffee is not because it is intended to be drank as coffee, not a milkshake. Okay. Starbucks, I think, but I'm not sure if it's really Starbucks who started revolutionizing coffees to become taste like milkshakes, but they're definitely the ones who have promoted or marketed it to become popular like that. And I agree, a lot of coffee products and even tea products have really started to taste like milkshakes with a strong coffee flavor. That's how I'd put it. Okay, so if you're listening right now and you're an avid coffee fan, let us know if you agree with this unpopular opinion or not, right? And you can also share your favorite coffee, okay? We're moving on to the next unpopular opinion. From OK Sugar 88884, bras aren't uncomfortable. Okay. Well, I'm a guy, so I wouldn't know. Okay, unless I try them for fun or whatever. Some sort of, bro experiment. But whatever. Let's see what the story is about and what people are saying. When I was younger, there were so many people in media and real life who made wearing a bra seem like the most uncomfortable thing in the world. And I don't doubt that they can be. But I think most people would say they're uncomfortable because they're wearing wired bras, which is not needed for the average women. Average? You mean average women? Yeah, it might offer a bit more support, but there are plenty of non-wired bras that offer a lot of support. So what I'm really saying is, wearing a bra doesn't need to be uncomfortable. Sometimes I forget I'm wearing one. Okay, I think I have an idea of what the comments would look like, but let's have a look. From possibilities to weight, it depends heavily on the bra. Okay, and look, and yeah, all caps on heavily. Okay, so I think it really depends on the kind of how do I say it without being flagged on YouTube? It depends on how the sizes that the bra are supporting. That's how I would put it. That's what I was thinking earlier while I was reading this. And yeah, it depends heavily on the bra and what they're supporting, okay? Let's see the next comment then. I'm so envious of the fact that you think bras aren't uncomfortable. Okay, so tell me you have big, yeah, this is so awkward. Tell me you have big front loaders without telling me you do have them. Okay, front loaders, that's crazy. Okay, let's move on to the next comment then. From Swirly Flurry, they're not uncomfortable for you, okay, in italics, which, good for you. Doesn't mean bras aren't uncomfortable for a lot of women, okay? Ladies, I'm glad that we're so civil in having this debate or discussion. And yeah, definitely. I wonder if I should ask my audience to, write down their comments if bras are uncomfortable for them. Maybe it might flag the video or the content. So let me just know if you agree or disagree and put it simply and keep it safe. Okay, guys? All right. Thank you. And let's move on to the next unpopular opinion. From Lawrence Paul, video games are the ultimate artistic medium, but most games are little more than commercial entertainment. All right, this is interesting. I'm a gamer myself. Let's see what this is about. I love games. It is my biggest passion in life. Its interactive nature and increasingly complex worlds allow for art and storytelling that exceeds any book or movie. Also, it is important to stress that I have nothing against games as pure entertainment. I just think it is undervalued as an artistic medium. Games are becoming increasingly dull and uncreative. There are still gems like Hollow Knight. Shout out to Mina the Hollower as well. But most games are like COD and FIFA, the same thing for the 20th time. Okay. NBA. Gamers with an interest in art do value games as art. Yeah, obviously. However, non-gamers, and especially the world of more conventional art, does not look favorably upon games like that. I think games should be much more central when we talk about art in general. The art world should accept that games offer something that a play, a ballet, a concert, painting, or statue never can. It is, therefore, at least equal to those high culture forms of art. At the same time, those artistic games are rare, and we should be more adamant on establishing them as real art outside the gaming world. All right. So it seems that our unpopular opinion here is focused more on the artistic and visual aesthetic side of the game. And let's see what other users are saying. From Better Everyday 14, I disagree because more and more indie games are being released every year. You talk about Hollow Knight as if it's the only creative game released. There's Silksong, Blueprints, Outer Wilds, Balatro, Slay Spire. I'm playing that right now. Okay? And these are just the games I personally play. It's literally never been a better time to be a gamer, in my opinion. All right, so our first comment or our first user disagrees, and where do I stand as a gamer myself? I think as a gamer myself, I really focus more on the entertainment aspect of the game. There are tons of games which are not really good looking but are unforgettable. That's what I would say. Tetris isn't artistic at all, but look at how many players are playing Tetris and the cultural impact of that game. Same with Pac-Man, right? So I think as a gamer myself, I would say that I also did disagree with the OP's post that, discriminating a game simply because of its art form, I think it's not that fair. But if you're an artist, if you're someone who is highly creative outside of gaming, I feel and I understand where you're coming from. Okay, so that's what I'll say about this. But let's go to the next comment then. From Blue Eye Glamour Eye, I'd argue this is true of any medium. Most music is background pop, most video is YouTube clickbait, most printed art is advertisements, etc. If not in terms of absolute quantity, then certainly in terms of what is most readily available to the average person. There is a ton of creative art out there, and I 100% agree. There are tons of creative art in gaming. It just takes a little effort to get past the giant piles of marketing money pointing you toward the more commercial stuff. All right, definitely agree. Now, I don't entirely discourage the OP or not really support the OP, but I'd like to say that there are tons of beautifully made games out there as well. I don't think we can really 100% compare and contrast one game to another just purely based on art. So I like reads like this where, it mentions the reality that this does not apply on gaming only, but on different kinds of media. And yeah, even in music, you hear tons of music which really have no substance, no value, but a lot of people listen to it because of, it's trendy, it's something good to listen to for them, okay? So let's move on to the next comment then. From Contract Various 3077, video games are kind of a jack of all trades, master of none form of entertainment. Very good, very well said. They can be a consolidation of all different kinds of art forms, but they're not really the best at any one of them outside of, gameplay. Definitely. Yeah, as mentioned, it's really hard to, box a game's value or identity purely based on art because there are tons of amazing and fun games which will, land you years of gameplay, even bring you that sense of nostalgia. And, games do create that sense of nostalgia, not just because of art, but because of how it makes you feel and how you explore, how you simulate something you cannot do in real life, and how fun the social interaction can be on those games, okay? So, if you're a gamer, let us know down below in the comments what you think about this unpopular opinion. Should this be considered an unpopular opinion, or do you think you agree with the OP and maybe we can justify that this is actually something that is of unacceptable opinion instead? Okay? We're moving on to the next unpopular opinion. From Colstads, gatekeeping recipes is dumb. Okay, I don't cook. Okay, I know how to cook eggs, and that's it. Okay, let's see what this is about. My mother-in-law, why does it have to be the mother-in-laws all the time? Okay, sorry. My mother-in-law made Spanish rice. My husband and I both love it. I asked her if she can share the recipe with me. I would love to make it. She said, "Oh, I don't share my recipes." What? I genuinely don't care if it's a family recipe passed on for generations. Food is meant to be shared. Just share the recipe. Okay, I'm not saying share it on the internet, but my gosh, just sharing it with a person that you know shouldn't be controversial. Okay? If you are that self-conscious that your family will stop loving you if they no longer need you to make a dish, then that says something more about you as a person. Okay, that's an over-the-top reaction. Okay, let's see what the other users are saying. From Chimpbot, $5 says there's either no actual recipe or it came out of a book and she just doesn't want to admit it. Okay. Yeah, I'm putting in my money as well. I'll put in 10. $10 says that there's actually just no recipe, and the suspense or mystery of it is actually what drives you the more insane for having your taste buds tickle like that. Okay? Sometimes just keeping it a recipe, just keeping it a mystery, it sometimes adds a psychological effect to your taste. Oh, that can be an unpopular opinion. Does keeping things secret add a psychological effect that makes things or recipes taste better? I might post that in the future. Okay, let's move on to the next comment then. From Pine Park, I make a very nice rice dish. Someone asked me for the recipe and I sent a picture of the box. LOL. This is what we're saying. So, okay, I don't dismiss the possibility that there could be a secret ingredient or there could actually be a secret recipe, but most of the time, that's it. There's just the picture of the box, just the ingredients, and someone mixed it precisely well as instructed, right? Okay, let's move on to the next comment. From Mad Dog Finland, my famous chocolate chip cookies are just the recipe off the back of the bag of chocolate chips my wife buys. Anyone who asks, I just tell them to check the bag. And laughing or hilarious emoji. Being all secretive about your recipes is lame. Yeah, and unless there's a super good reason why the recipe is being kept in secret, maybe it's an old promise to an old, ancestor or something, or it might affect or have consequences to the fate of the world. I think sharing recipes, well, I don't cook, but I don't think it hurts or harms anyone if you share your recipe, and it might actually, make you even closer to that person because you can bond over something and you can, who knows, you can work together in improving the recipe as well. On the other hand, let's just say that the mother-in-law has a really good reason for keeping it a secret. Let's just give her the benefit of the doubt. I'll do that. Let me give her the benefit of the doubt. What if there's an actual reason why she doesn't want to share the recipe because of some other reason that the OP did not mention or the OP did not know about? Okay? What could be good reasons why you wouldn't share a secret recipe to another person, no matter how close you are, and no matter the reasonable or good intentions that could come out for sharing that recipe? So if you're someone who cooks and has your own secret recipe, why don't you share your comments down below and tell us what your motivations are in sharing it or keeping it a secret, okay? I'm sure we will love it. And I think that's it for today. And again, Thank you so much for tuning in as usual. You know what to do if you love the videos, and we'll see you on the next episode.